What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Foshocker, the 96 Hedgehog here with our PDL Draft Analysis for the Pokemon Deity League. And I actually, fun fact, recorded this already, but your boy here is a big old dum-dum and actually completely forgot the reason why he signed up for the league. Because I did mention this in the previous draft analysis, I said with it. So I had to restart it so that way you guys get a proper intel. Excuse me. Proper intel for the team. Okay. So first off, this league is first going to be played on the Radical Red server, which is a reason why I'm going to have the Radical Red server in the background here. Plus, it keeps all my other teams private, which is really, really nice as well. But for this league, we're using Pokemon from Legends of Arceus that includes their Hisuian forms, the Hisuian Pokemon, and the Hisuian legendaries. Well, legendary, I guess you could say. But you get what I mean. But we went with this, and I had a lot of choices for myself. Unfortunately, I believe there were 16 coaches. I got the 14th pick out of 16, and I was not gonna be able to get a lot of things. There were some Pokemon that did fall to me. Excuse me. That I actually really could have picked up, and I would have really been happy with. But sadly, I messed up, and it really sucks. But, anyways, we're gonna be happy with that. So, going into this draft, I had no plan. And one more thing I should say before we get into the draft analysis is that this draft is going to be based around APA's recent format, which you guys have been keeping up with APA when it came back, and then a previous, I think it was actually the last season or the season before that, APA. Excuse me, that was a really big yawn right there. APA had a season where you would draft three separate teams, and they decided to do something slightly different because the first time they did that, you would get to make a combination of every single Pokemon you drafted as long as they fit the points requirement, the tier requirements for each one. But in the current APA, you basically, and I believe this is how we're going to do AP. We're going to be doing this, and for whoever makes playoffs. But basically, we're going to draft three separate teams. We have 12 weeks of a season. First 4 weeks will be the team you'll see here. The second week, the second four set of weeks, basically weeks 5 through no 5 through, and see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 5 through 8, and then 9 through 12. You'll basically get three different teams throughout those weeks. And this is the team number one. I'm definitely going to try to make sure I get any and all new Pokemon that we can get to access to and to use because I really want to use some Pokemon here. So, with that being said, let's get to the first pick. And I'm sorry I'm kind of spacing. Feeling a little tired and also just been kind of distracting myself right now, so I shouldn't be. But with my first overall pick, I had, like I said, I was 14th in the draft, so there was not a lot of great options to me. I was, and you guys can't see this, but I'm like holding my first finger and my thumb, literally like almost like they're to the point where they're touching each other, like for distance wise. I was that close from making Hisuian Zoroark my first pick. I was so close making that my first pick, and there were some reasons behind wanting to make it my first pick. I would have wanted to make it my first pick because the fact that, for one, A, it's probably the best Hisuian form in the game. Don't even at me. And two, it's such an amazing Pokemon normal ghost. Incredible type diversity right there. Only one weakness in the game, and that being Dark. And Dark can be built around effectively with a really strong Fighting and Fairy type. Excuse me. So I thought, you know what, that would be really, really good. So I was gonna pick it, but knowing that I was basically on the wheel, there is a chance it could go round one. There's a chance it could go round two. I took the gamble, didn't go for it, but instead, normal incarnate form of Enamorus was taken, but not the Therian form of Enamorus was taken. And you know what? It's the only one that's a legendary from this generation that I believe is new. And you know what? It's a new Pokemon. I want to try it, So I did do a comparison between the two. This one is definitely when you have your pros and cons. Obviously, some people agree that, that the incarnate forms are the better forms. Excuse me, are the better forms. I would definitely say that I think both Landorises are good. I think Thundy I is probably better than Thundy T in terms of abilities. And then I would probably say Torn T is better than Thundy I. And in this case, it's definitely where it's Enamorus Incarnate is definitely better because it gets Contrary. One of the most broken abilities in the game. And this thing does not. It gets Overcoat, which is not really all that great. And it's actually probably the worst. I would think of all the genies, this is the worst ability for any of the forms to get. So that definitely sucks. You can argue and say Sand Force is worse on Lando I, but that can actually work, and it's actually not that makes Lando I bad. Excuse me, sorry. But I went with Enamorus. This is a new Pokemon. It's a Fairy type. It's Flying typing with a Fairy dance. It's definitely weird. I will say I can't use the shiny form. I'm pretty sure, but look at that shiny. That shiny's actually pretty clean. It changed to like a pink purple and like a red orange tilt with the skin that changed with. That was really cool. Well, why did I go with Enamorus? You're gonna see a little bit of a theme team, and I think with the team, it definitely likes taking advantage of Hurricane, which is really good. I don't know exactly the move pool in this thing. I know it gets good, decent psychic coverage. It gets fairy and flying coverage. It's gonna probably get some few other coverage-based moves. I believe I remember this thing can get Calm Mind. So again, this is Legend of Arceus style that I have to work with the move sets and stuff. So you're gonna have to, you know, pardon me if I take a while to figure these things out because again, these are Pokemon that are not in the game. Excuse me, they're not in the game, so are not going to be in the damage calc and stuff like that. So I have to really kind of play it to ear, so to speak. So I'm just going to have to try my best, okay? But I'm super excited for Enamorus, a new Pokemon. I think it's going to be really, really cool, really, really interesting. And who knows? Maybe this could be a really amazing Pokemon. And who knows? I could also just be really bad. With my somewhat wheel pick, I actually went with Hisuian Gudra. I honestly felt like that Gudra paired with this was honestly the best pairing I could think of. For one, I want to try some Hisuian forms of Pokemon. I definitely wanted to. That was the main reason I wanted to do this league, was to try some of those out and to also, try some variants, see if they're better than others. I have used regular Gudra before, and I would say Gudra's like a 50-50 mon for me. It's at times it's good, at times either I don't play it good or it just didn't end up doing as much as I was hoping to do. We're gonna see how that works for Gudra. Gudra is Steel Dragon with his Hisuian form. It only picked up Overcoat over Hydration, which is not even really that good. Then Sap Sipper still kind of helps against the abilities that Overcoat kind of negates. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. But regardless, though, I think Gudra's gonna be really good. It basically gets the same move set as Gudra and everything like that. It's very unique. Gudra's very offensive, very especially defensive. This thing is definitely a little bit more bulkier than Gudra. It's not as hard hitting as Gudra, but he definitely can put in a lot of work. I'm super excited for Hisuian Gudra and see how this thing works. I named it Gary because literally it's a snail now. It's gotta be Gary now. So. With my next wheel pick, also by the way, I would have grabbed Hisuian Zoroark in round two, but that literally went, I think, either the first or it went the pick right before me and I was so angry. Like, you have no idea how angry I was that I got sniped on that. It hurt so bad. It really did, man. It really did. But with my third pick, I grabbed one of my personal favorites from Legends Arceus. I grabbed Sneasler. And I don't care what all of you say. Sneasler is amazing. I love Sneasler. I think this is a fantastic design. Some people may say they could have been slightly better. It could have probably used a bit of a better name. And yes, I will agree to that, but I don't care. I love this Pokemon. This was, I believe I had this on my team. No, I don't think I did actually. If it wasn't, it would have been. But I love Sneasler. Sneasler is so amazing. I think it's such a fantastic Pokemon. And Poison Fighting, yeah, not the really best type combination you can get, but elite speed of 120, elite offense with 130. So perfect. I got a special breaker, a physical breaker, and a defensive tank that can also play both physical and special, which is honestly really, really good. And honestly, I'm so excited for Sneasler. You have no idea. It has this move called Dire Claw, which is super sick. I believe it's called Dire Claw. Or whatever it is. Basically, it's a move that has a really high critical ratio, and I believe also a high chance to poison. So, really, really cool mon. I had to definitely look up the move sets to make sure I can know what legality it is with it. But super excited for it, and I'm just really excited. With that, I paired it off with Monkey Zarude. Zarude's a bit of a Pokemon I actually have been trying to use, but I usually get better dark types or better grass types before I grab Zarude. But overall, I love Zarude. I used Zarude before in the league, before I had to take a break from the league and actually leave it. I think everything was just stressing me out at the time, and I was just getting stacked on all my leagues. But at that point in time, Zarude was in it, and I think Zarude picked off, I think, like, a grand total was like 7-4 or 6-2, something like that. Like, I used this thing to kill a Mega Charizard Y, which was, I mean, you can probably say it's not surprising because it outspeeds it and it has rock coverage. But still, I mean, think about it. Grass types beat fire types. Think about that. Think how amazing that sounds. But regardless, Zarude's an amazing Pokemon. I think it's so amazing. I think the combination of fighting of dark grass definitely hitters led, but it's got a really strong move pull and fighting coverage, rock coverage, dual stab. It gets demon access, I believe, Iron Tail, which is surprisingly enough. But again, steel coverage, any type of coverage move you can get, it can really do well with. And I think overall it's a fantastic Pokemon. It gives me my grass type and my dark typing, which I really needed for my squad. It's not overall the best ground switching, but it's got really good solid defenses and HP for it. So I think overall, fantastic mon. Really excited. And this is where I admitted I want half. So basically, halfway through my draft, I officially announced that I'm basically going rain. Now, I wanted this team to kind of function in and out of rain perfectly. I wanted to make my opponents have to prep and think if rain comes or if rain doesn't come. You know what I mean? Like, if I could force them to think rain comes and trick them into prepping for it and then bring it out, then they struggle with it. But if they have such a really bad matchup to rain and some of my Pokemon are just not going to have that good of a matchup, then I can take advantage of that and then bring out this Mon and then bring out these Mons and take advantage of, especially with the Mon I paired up with it. But Politoed, like I've said before, it's the better rain setter between it and Pelipper. I don't care if Pelipper. Excuse me. I don't care if Pelipper can use Hurricane. I don't care. I don't care if it can take advantage of Drizzle better. I don't care. This is better This is the better rain setter. And if you don't want to agree with me, then you're just wrong. I'm just kidding. Don't take it seriously. But anyways, I paired that up with Vikavolt next, and this is where it takes the team from being strictly going to be rain based to now having to be focus based. Because now you have to focus now at the fact that not only do I have rain, now I have webs. What are you going to do about that? And I won't lie, my hazard game is kind of weak in this. And again, I think you can win without hazards. I have proven you can win without hazards. Sometimes I have hazards when it's just occasional, on a mon that can actually just fit it every single week. And this is a mon again that can kind of fit sticky webs here and there about every single week. Yeah, obviously I say every other week, even though it's only going to be 4, but you get what I mean with that, though. This is overall a fantastic Pokemon. I have not used Vikavolt in so long. It has been a very, very long time since I've used Vikavolt. And I am so excited to have it again. This is a fantastic Pokemon. I really love it. So really excited to try it again. So with picking up Rain, I picked up probably one of my favorite Rain users. I used this only one time for 4 with Rain, and I was super happy with the results. Kabutops was a monster for me in RGBL, if you remembered. That this mon just really carried a good part of the team for some weeks. It got robbed of some kills at some points. It also was getting robbed on how it could have done. It beat a Corviknight when it was bulked up, and it lived a hit from it, which was pretty sick. Overall, I love Kabutops. Kabutops is an amazing Pokemon. It is one of my only few ways of removing hazards, which does suck, but it can make it work. But again, with the way I'm going to be pressuring my team with having a few rockers, which you'll see this is one of the two, and then having some other forms of hazards being there, it's definitely going to prep my opponent to either force to bring their defogger if that's all they have, or to bring heavy duty boots and limit their item down, which is really good. But Kabutops is just going to be a strong breaker for this team. I'm hoping to run Bandit some weeks and just be able to run House with it. But if I can also see games that it doesn't work with, we have Blade Master, which means like things like Psycho Cut, um, Leaf Blade, stuff like that. Stuff like that type of attacks can do good. Another mon I haven't used in a very long time that I'm actually really excited to try is our boy Pharaoh, aka Cofferrigus. I was thinking of naming it a Tem, but it doesn't really fit in my opinion. I feel like it has to be something more Yu-Gi-Oh based on. I think Pharaoh. Pharaoh is obviously the Pharaoh, the mummy. And I would have named it Mummy as a female, but I just feel like that's a little lame. Eh, it just yeah. But regardless, Pharaoh, really good defensive ghost type, which I think is pretty good. But overall, this gave me a Toxic Spikes Mon. This gave me a Mon with Trick Room, which there's definitely some parts of my team that can take advantage of Trick Room and make that work to them, including Cofagrigus itself. Cofagrigus is a really good Pokemon that now gets access to Fighting type coverage, which can beat its Dark type companions with getting Body Press this generation. I think overall, Cofagrigus is going to be a super good Pokemon. It also picks up Shadow Shield, which is basically a form of multi-scale, which is really good. So in case I don't want to run Mummy when I know my team's got more special, I could run Shadow Shield, be able to take a lot of hits better going forward. And I'm just really, really excited for Coffergus this first 4 weeks. Up next with Wheezing. Wheezing is another Toxic Spiker. This gives you more of a physically defensive poison type, so that now I can get something that can touch the ground if I choose to with neutralizing gas. Another thing with also having now Pharaoh, I have now 2 options of Toxic Spikes. I can choose Pharaoh to play more defensive with annoyance sets in that way, and then I can make Wheezy and Neutralizing Gas if I needed to be in some weeks, and then make that my Toxic Spiker, and then run the coverage when they can. And don't sleep on the fact that Wheezing can be very offensive. There is options to Wheezing that I think a lot of people. I mean, this thing gets side beam, bro. I'm sorry, my friend Obo29 did that once, and it was awesome. But we have Wheezing, which can just run a lot of different rarities. I think a lot of people sleep on the fact that Wheezing can be offensive. So I think there's a chance that we could bring out offensive Wheezing if we wanted to, which can kind of take advantage of both Trick Room and Webs in some ways. So just a really, really great time, man. I had a lot of fun with Wheezing in the past, even though I haven't used it for a ton of success. But I'm really excited to give it a go again. In my last pick before my Mega, which should be basically um, obvious to you with my tier 5, and I think this was a mistake on the team's fault for this. I think they made a mistake making this a tier 5 Pokemon. My opinion, this is tier 4 at best. I will say that. I won't get Weird Ear a lot of credit here, which is weird, by the way. But I don't think this thing was tier 5. I mean, Normal Psychic's a really good combination. Frisk, which is really great. Sap Sipper, which is, again, another grass mini. You gotta see, again, why when I went to my Swift Swim user, I went with Pokemon that were quad weak to grass. And you can kind of see now why when you look at the way that kind of handle it out. And believe it or not, it was actually not fully intentional for that to be the case. But I now have 2 Sap Supermons. I have a Bug type. I have a Grass type that can definitely switch it on most Grass type hits. And I have a Flying type that's very bulky that can take on most Grass type hits. I have half my team that can cover, and I also have a Poison type. Over half of the team covers Grass perfectly well and shuts Grass down. So I don't have to fear things like Grass types and stuff like that. Maybe have to potentially fear about Grassy Glide, But regardless, I have so many coverage for grass types. So it's really good on that. So that's really awesome. And I'm weird here. I don't know how this is gonna do. This is a very unique Pokemon. It's the evolution of Stantler. So we'll see how it does. It doesn't look that bad. It can go physical or special, which is really nice. It does get access to Calm Mind, which is really good. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. And of course, my mega pick was gonna have to be Swampert. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or what about it. If I'm running Rain, I run Swampert. I have loved using Mega Swampert with Rain. It definitely put in some work for us. I still remember when I uploaded a video where Mega Swampert beat Mega Sceptile somehow outside of Rain. I don't know how that was even possible, but it was. But regardless, yeah, but I love this team. I think this team came out really, really great. When it comes to draft number 2 and draft number 3, I'm not having plans with these drafts. They're just like on the fly kind of plans. Where on the fly means I'm just gonna really just think of it at random and just go for it. But I'm really hoping this team pans out. Hopefully, we can do well with this team for the first 4 weeks because, believe it or not, the way draft number 2 is gonna work is that for drafts 2 and 3, it's going to be based on our rankings in the division. So basically, if we're the number 1 team, we'll get number 1 pick. So basically, the better your rank is, or maybe the worse your rank is, you get a different position every single time. So it just really depends on that. But I'm super excited for this team. I'm super excited for this league. Battles will be starting in less than a week, which is going to be really, really great. I have some other leagues that are entering playoffs right now, so hopefully I'll have the time for this league. And the other special little tournament thing I have going on, which you'll see in a video soon. But regardless, that's the team. This is our season. Hopefully we can pick up some 4 wins. Try to go undefeated and have just a really strong season. And overall, just have some fun and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Love you, like if you leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Join the Phil Shocker crew today and be a part of the Phil Shocker crew. But until next time, guys, I'm Phil Shocker, and nice to chat. I'll see you guys later. Peace.